Welcome to this presentation of UPSL Soccer Action, live on YouTube and presented by the Atlantic Soccer Media Group.
UPSL Premier Division postseason action coming to you live from Shiloh Community Stadium here at Charlie Jordan Field. Kalonji Pro Profile going up against North Georgia United. Only one can advance to semifinals. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to UPSL Premier Division postseason action. And here at Shiloh Stadium, there are just some things that are meant to go together. Shiloh Stadium on a Sunday afternoon, UPSL and postseason action, Steven Johnson and Larry Weaver. And Sunday afternoon in some knockout soccer. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Steven Johnson, joined by Larry Weaver. And we have got a heated quarterfinal matchup here today, where the winner moving forward to semifinal action in North Georgia and Kalonji. Are both teams... Kalonji, I think, are closer to the title picture. North Georgia definitely has to be seen as the team on the outside looking in today's matchup.
Yeah, we have two teams that are really on different paths as it comes into the playoffs. One team that's starting to find their own as Kalonji Pro Profile, and another team that's still trying to figure out where their strengths are in North Georgia United.
Yeah, and like we said, two teams have taken very different paths to get here. North Georgia somewhat hanging on at the end of the regular season to maintain their playoff spot. Kalonji doing the classic Kalonji postseason thing of making all the way through. Speaking of which, North Georgia, this is their route to get here. Keep your eyes especially towards the bottom of that. Kalonji Pro Profile versus North Georgia United. Last time they met up, 7-3. I think 7 goals is about the highest we've had in the Premier Division this season. So North Georgia United, they had to come into today's games with a lot of change-ups if they want to be able to take out Kalonji Pro Profile here in their own house.
Yeah, that was a match where North Georgia found themselves in the lead at halftime and allowed Kalonji Pro Profile to take that game over in the second half. They had several different injuries in a row, and they weren't able to make the necessary change in time, and Kalonji exploited that and found that victory. The thing that I see is 3 losses in a row to end the season, and that's really concerning, as well as they're the only club in the playoffs that has a negative goal differential.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot to figure out on defense. Now, something to be said about those last 3 games. They are against the 3 best teams in the league, I'd say, Academy, Kalonji Pro Profile, and Dalton United. But this is the postseason. You have to be able to step up to each and every challenger that's coming up against you each and every week. So we'll have to see. They've made some changes, but we'll get to those later. Speaking of which, let's take a look here at the table and, where North Georgia ended up at the end of the season.
Yeah, they were looking really well earlier in the season. About midway, they were sitting at about 4th place, but those last 3 losses just saw them stumble down the bracket, and they were just able to hang on and make it into 6th place. Yeah. But you look at that -9 goal differential, that's a real red flag for me. I'm really concerned. That really shows that their defense is the part that's really let them down.
Yeah, and North Georgia are an interesting team. They're a very pragmatic side. They try to play this kind of Mourinho-esque style of let's be defensive and let's hit them on the counterattack. They've got some options up there. Alerte, of course, as well as McKeever earlier on in the season. Interesting. We'll have to check out our lineups, but I do think I see McKeever dressed up. So very interesting movements here from North Georgia. But you're right. It's not a very positive style of play. They try to take advantage of others, but it really hasn't been connecting. And realistically, they somewhat lucked out here based off of Rovers and LGSA severely underperforming at the end of the season.
Rovers, a team that at the beginning of the season we were expecting them to be in the playoffs, and they absolutely, the bottom fell out on their season, and they lost 5 straight to end the season, and Los Tigres took that position and they ran with it.
Yeah, but let's focus in now on tonight's matchup as the players take the field, because they're up against Kalonji Pro Profile, who did try to make it last minute, like literally the last possible second grasp for the title. Didn't quite make it there, but a very strong run at the end of the season do set them up here in the best position of the 4 teams playing this weekend in the quarterfinals to take a fight to those top 3.
Yeah, this is going to be a real solid match because Kalonji, they do this every season. They always end the season with a game or 2 in hand, and then they make that run for the playoffs, or make that run to the national title, or I should say the regular season title. Unfortunately, it just didn't work for them this time.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a quick break here for National Anthem, and we'll be right back with some more action. And just minutes away from game time, let's take a quick look here at how both these lineups are, well, lining up. North Georgia, some interesting changes coming into this game and more that we've just seen the lineup.
Yes, they are going today with a 4-4-2. Moreno still back in the goal. Perkle, Orleana, Figueroa, Young as that back line. We don't quite know what the midfield is going to do just yet. Manu Lam, he's been one of their star players in the midfield.
Yep.
Valencia, Sanchez Mendoza, Grimaldo, they've been holding, but the big change?
Yeah, it looks like Alerte, I don't believe is getting the start today. They brought back McKeever, who was notably absent from the last matchup versus Dalton. Very interesting to see the 4-4-2. 2 lines of 4 could help them restrict the space up against a side like Kalonji, who just love to play through you. And how do they play through you? Well, they just have firepower all over the pitch, taking care of the lineup. Still, of course, we've got
Henry in the back goal. Always a 4-4-3 when you see the Kalonji setup. One thing that do notice is that there's a little bit of a change in the back line. Carr not in. Garawu is in. You got Forster. You've got Dekite, White, Pavlovsky, who's just been a powerhouse.
Yeah,
So-
and this is that 4-3-3 style that has somewhat taken over the world of United States soccer as of late. It's a very fluid midfield 3. Pavlovsky plays that box-to-box style. He can appear in front of his own goal. He can appear making a run towards the back post. And then Dante and White, very movable. But those front 3 are absolutely devastating. Okonkwo, Sumo, and Camdem, just on their own, can take on defenders one-on-one. Interesting to see how that's going to switch around the sides of that 4-4-2 formation. What are we going to see those wide midfielders do? What are we going to see those wide backs doing? That could potentially be the questions that determine who will come out at the end of the day.
But you can already see, when we were talking about which kind of a formation of a 4-4-2 are they going to bring, and one of the things you're starting to see, you see a little bit of a diamond formation already with the way that the midfield is doing it. Are they going to stick with that 4-4-2 diamond? We're not quite sure. We'll see here in just a few moments.
Yeah, I think the most telling thing is going to be what happens when Kalonji's in possession. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time to kick off here as North Georgia start us off right here at Charlie Jordan Field at Shiloh Community Stadium. North Georgia driving down this right side. Lom being one of those wide midfielders. Typically, he's either out as a winger or potentially as a wing back. So interesting to see them playing that flat 4 formation, using a bit of a diamond in the build-up with one of the midfielders holding back. Looks like that's Sanchez Mendoza, who does typically play more as a defender than as a midfielder. So interesting to see him up there. Actually, potentially another change here, as I do see number 5 on the pitch for North Georgia, as I don't believe that was in our starting lineup. But Kalonji very quickly going to steal the ball back. Now let's see what they're out today. Kalonji, ladies and gentlemen, are going right to left across the screen in the all-whites. North Georgia, they're in their red and black home kits. So it should be pretty easy to pick out who's who today. Down that left side, finding Conquo. Pavlotsky, ball over the top, way deep. Potentially the first skirmish in a battle that will take all day today. White coming from his attacking midfield position. If anything, actually looks like a bit of a swap around. Okonkwo is slotting in as that left-sided winger. Camden is taking the number 9 role today. And of course, Dante, who does sometimes take up that number 10 position, just sitting right on the back heel of the striker. He's pretty high up today as well.
And you know, Stephen, with the way that Kalonji plays, they generally speaking, those two front wingers are inverted because Sumo is primarily a left-footed player and Camden or Okonkwo, who's ever playing that left side, more of a right-footed player.
Yeah, and it really does speak to their style. This is a team that's not going to try to hit you with 3 passes in your own box and then score. It's going to be wingers who want to cut inside and rip shots at you. And they want to try to isolate those defenders, go one-on-one. It may be a little bit difficult against a front 4, hence why I think they've really pushed Dante to the front of this formation to kind of turn a 3-on-4 matchup into a bit of a 4-on-4 matchup. But this is going to be a marathon for the defenders in North Georgia, because they're just going to have to be on top of it time and time again.
Yeah, because if you probably were able to look statistically at the shots that Kalonji takes throughout the season, you're going to see primarily those shots taken inside in that central box area. They're not a team that is well known to be taking wide-angle shots.
Yeah, certainly not. It looks like a, ball in through, doesn't quite find feet. Velasquez, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is here instead of Sanchez Mendoza. Makes a little bit more sense. Mendoza typically slots in as a defender. Midfielder coming out. Speaking of which, all the way on the far side, one-on-one at the far post, ball over the top through the American uprights. Not going to find anything. But it looks like the first of our questions is being answered. Who's going to have defensive responsibility for those wide players?
Yeah, we'll take a look at this replay here real quick. You can see, again, moving down the right flank as they do so well. He is onside, looking to find his way in. He goes ahead and tries to take a shot. More of a corner, more of a trying to slot it over. Unfortunately, didn't get a good handle on it, and it was more just shot out for a goal kick.
Yeah.
You could see what the idea was. He was trying to get that pass across goal. It just unfortunately too early in the match to get that type of finesse.
Yeah, and that's the downside of having the inverted wingers. They are better at shooting, worse at crossing. Because typically you want that dominant foot to your outside if you're going for a cross. If you're going for a shot, you want it inside. So unable to really cut inside is, yeah, very defensive 4-4-2 coming in here. Looks like both those midfielders taking up pretty deep holding positions. Really creating that midfield box, trying to prevent the one-on-one matchups. North Georgia, they found a little something down the right wing. Lom not able to keep it on the inside. And unfortunately, that will go out for a Kalonji throw-in. Starting to feel a little bit of the quick hits out of North Georgia. They're doing a good job so far of being that pragmatic defensive side that we've expected out of them. But now the big question is, can you make something happen on the end of the pitch?
And we've seen several matches that we've been able to cover for North Georgia. It's number 13, Lom, who works that edge so well and really catches teams off guard and is able to move into those attacking positions.
Yeah, I think Lom's probably one of the more underappreciated players on the North Georgia side. really gives him a lot of creative options. He is relegated to a very wide position today, so I'll have to see how much he's going to be able to win that battle, especially up against the likes of Foster, who is slotting in as the left back here today for Kalonji. Giroux and Damfa holding down the fort in the midfield. But as you mentioned, I feel like this is going to be more of a game of North Georgia trying to prevent Kalonji from scoring rather than it is going to be North Georgia scoring. But given that it's postseason, I mean, that's a perfectly reasonable strategy.
Yeah, and this is one of the things to think about is that Kalonji Pro Profile, they're coming into this season with a completely different setup in the midfield with their superstars of the midfield all getting moved up to Atlanta United 2's roster. So they've really had to redefine, and you see that Pavlotsky has really stepped into that role as of the playmaker there in the midfield.
Yeah, break here now for North Georgia. Able to pick up that ball, looking for McKeever. He's able to control it. Finds all the way to the right side. Here's Lom. He may be on with the goalkeeper. Cuts to the inside. He's going to go for a left-footed effort. Oh, just into the side net. Lom finds himself just in acres of space. McKeever, you can feel the weight he has as a player because when he's on the ball, everyone just slides to him.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this again really quick. Great work by McKeever here, slots it over to Lom. Lom, an all bunch of acreage, easy to go, moves over to his left, and he just pulls it and hits the side netting. If he could have laid that off maybe a little bit more with his ankle, straight it out, he could have been on the far post.
Ooh, header goes over the top of North Georgia. Goalkeeper is going to clean that one up.
But that's one of the things that McKeever is going to have to do is he's going to have to move back from that attacking position more into the midfield because he's going to need to help move the play up because what he can do is he can suck that defense to him.
Yeah.
And then he can lay the ball off for the runner.
I don't know if he's going to be dropped too far back because I feel like that's going to be the role of Robeldo, number 21 here, is the strike partner to McKeever. But he's going to be the first man on the ball, and I think he's going to play more back-to-goal soccer. And this is an interesting thing with the modern game. Your fullbacks pressing so far up that, you know, if your fullbacks aren't recovering in time, it leaves those wings open. And Lom has a absolute engine under the hood, is typically able to outwork his opponent. Speaking of which, Lom, maybe a bit too big of an engine, ends up tripping up Kalonji here in the midfield.
You look at that real quick, you can see Lom trying to move the ball forward, loses it to Pavlotsky. Start the counter, and he tries to make up. And
ooh, big ball over the top here. Goes to Sumo on the wing. He's isolated out with two members. This is that 4-4-2 coming into fruition. Tries to go around the outside of him. Doesn't quite beat the man. Kalonji are going to be awarded the corner kick, but yeah, just right there you saw. Sumo tries to get around that right side. Valencia and Figueroa are basically hand in hand, preventing him from making that move. And Kalonji, we mentioned this. They're not a team that's going to try to tiki-taka you to death.
No.
They want to be very direct. They want their players to be slamming that FIFA right stick, step you over to Kingdom Come, and then make the shot. So this could be a very effective strategy for North Georgia. Ball in across the box. Oh, dangerously dribbles out of the way. Conquo not able to put it home. North Georgia, a little bit of a scary instance here, and potentially showing you that they may need to find a goal of their own because with just the set pieces like that, I mean, still, Kalonji are a very dangerous attacking side.
We take another look at that again. This is a great corner. Swinger comes in, and it gets right to the head. Just, unfortunately, Okonkwo wasn't on the ball, and he just takes a hack at it, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, a corner like that shows you that there are gaps in the North Georgia set-piece defense. And if you can just find that perfect space, you're going to be able to get that. And that's actually the one thing that Kalonji can look forward to this game. If they're going to be double-teamed on the wings, they're probably going to have a lot of chances to find these corners and find these set pieces, more so than I think they'll find shots on goal. So if they can convert on even one or two of these, they can find themselves comfortably through to the next round. But North Georgia, I don't think defending is going to be enough. I think with just how aggressive Kalonji are, they're going to have to find a goal of their own, maybe make it 1-1, bring us to extra time, maybe bring us to PKs. And that's probably going to be the game plan here for North Georgia. Left wing doing its work. Figueroa able to take his man.
The one thing that North Georgia has in this match was they were just here 2 weeks ago.
Ooh, hold that thought, Velasquez. Sorry to cut you off. I got really excited. I saw a little back heel.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go. Pavlotsky, ooh, going to be absolutely taken out on that far side, but should win the Kalonji ball.
Yeah, they were just here 2 weeks ago. They made that mistake in the second half. I talked to Coach Brito after the match. He really he took it on himself. I made a mistake. So we'll see if they can able to do it, if they can fix from that today.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of learning available here. Big ball over the top. Tries to find its way for Kemdem. Not going to find it just yet. Kalonji do tend to play a lot of balls over the top, but this defense is playing a very deep line here. Pavlotsky picking up the ball in the midfield. Runs into Velasquez. Has to lay it off. Ooh, not quite able to get around the goal, not the goalkeeper, but the referee, Conquo. Really runs into the back of blue. Ball through. Not going to find Lom, North Georgia. Still very decisive and very direct with their attacks, but it is that kind of just keep rolling the dice, and as long as we don't commit too many men forward, there's not really a penalty for missing an attack. You just kind of keep rolling them until they come up your way. But the question is, are they going to eventually hit the goods here?
One of the things for North Georgia is continue to work this back line, because this back line at Kalonji is not a veteran back line. Only the captain, Tachi, is a veteran of this line. Most of this back line are all new players for this season. So push them and see if they don't make a mistake.
Okonkwo dispossessed. North Georgia back on the ball. Lom finds space, turns it inside. Finding the way up the line. Finds a way to McKeever. McKeever lays it off. Here comes JJ, right wing. Oh, taken away. Still going to be the throw-in for North Georgia, but they're starting to build up a little something in that attack. Valencia able to check in from that left wing and really help the build-up, but now they're in the trenches here. Final third, Lom. Ball thrown in. Back heel to McKeever. McKeever all the way through. Tries to find some assistance. JJ not able to get on the end of it. Really uncharacteristic mistakes coming out from the back line of Kalonji. Will keep North Georgia in a very aggressive position here with the throw-in. Right back Young, stepping up to take this, finds McKeever. McKeever, Pavlotsky on his back. Fancy footwork. Plays the ball back across. Here comes Velasquez. Velasquez tries for the right foot, can't quite find it. Falls to JJ. JJ taken down. No call, going to be the call from the referee. And now we're on the other way. Okonkwo on the left side, holds off his man. Can't quite get around them both. Here comes Pavlotsky with the assist. Pavlotsky driving into the midfield. Has options through the center, has options out wide. Kemdem's in front. Kemdem got the ball. Beautiful touch from Kemdem. Just can't find its way around, and Moreno will be able to scoop that up as Kalonji are responding in kind. Lom, big ball over the top, looking for McKeever. McKeever falls perfectly to him. It's on his left foot. He takes the shot. Can't quite get around the keeper. Good save from Henry as the Lom-McKeever connection almost opens up the score sheet here at Shiloh Stadium. And this is fun. Kalonji on the break once more, finding on that right side. Sumo, ball at his feet, maybe took a touch too big. Ends up blasting that into the high jump pit. And what did we just witness?
Yeah, we'll take a look at that work by McKeever and Lom. Beautiful ball from Lom over the top, just drops between two defenders. McKeever takes the shot, unfortunately, right at Henry, and he's able to make a wonderful save. And you got to know Henry is one of the veterans of this Kalonji team. He's had the opportunity to play over in Germany, get some time into to a more professional level, so he's not going to be easy to get past.
No, he certainly isn't. And, you know, potential very poor ball cleared out by Moreno. But if I didn't know better, I would come in saying that I would actually expect this North Georgia side to look a little bit more aggressive in the attack. This front four is working out really well for them so far. Obviously, only 15 minutes into the game. Plenty of time for the teams to adapt to each other's styles, so for coaching to bark some orders at the squad, and for players to adapt. JJ nearly dispossesses Dante in the middle of his defensive third. Pavlovsky tries to check in, picks up the ball, put it back. Diakte plays it all the way across. Now it's in the center back. Now it's on that left wing. Looking for Foster. Instead, we go completely coast to coast. Okonkwo on that right side, isolated in the 1v1, goes around the man, but it's just a step too far. Picked up by Moreno. Good defense coming out from Figueroa, who has been looking pretty solid in that left back position.
But you can already tell that the positive play from North Georgia is causing Kalonji trouble. Just a few moments ago when that throw-in happened, you saw Coach Bruno come off of the bench screaming at his players, and he hasn't sat down since.
Yeah, definitely on edge. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is knockout soccer. One match. Doesn't matter what you did in the season. Doesn't matter how many wins you had at the end of the season. If you can't win right here and right now, it is over. Foul, but it's going to be played through. Lom finds the ball across. McKeever offsides. Let's see what the referee does. I don't think he's going to play advantage.
That was a great opportunity by North Georgia. We take a look at it again. You see another ball that's found its way by Lom. It finds its way over to McKeever. It's got to be a whisker offside.
Yeah. I've been North Georgia just opening up, but I think I want to go back to something you were mentioning. I think the 4-4-2 is helping a lot because the fact that they're letting the wingers and the fullbacks basically two-man the wingers from Kalonji. Kalonji don't have a lot up their sleeves. They show everything. They wear it on their chest. Yeah, they are a team of very talented wingers and very talented forwards, and they just want to make a play through there. North Georgia finds McKeever. Back post, just needs a touch. He gets past the keeper, needs to find his backup man. An absolute whiff coming from Rebeldo. Absolutely heartbreaking. McKeever, unfortunately, takes it into a wide position. Can't quite find it. Now here comes the North Georgia once again. Picked up. There's Dante. Dante goes coast to coast. Finds Sumo. Can't find Sumo. Put out for the throw-in for Young. It feels like something's coming.
Yeah, another fantastic opportunity by North Georgia. You see here, slots it again. Somehow McKeever is finding his way through those center backs, and he goes to take to pass back to give him the shot, and he just scuffs it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have too many easier opportunities than that. Goalkeeper's off his line, and I think it's just the excitement of the situation. Sometimes it just unsettles players. Ball in over the top. Okonkwo is just in miles of free space, takes a shot, lands on the goalkeeper's back. Moreno finds the save. No offsides call. That must have been a beautiful run from Okonkwo to find so much space.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it here because somehow, some way, he was onside. I'm not quite sure how, because you see, you can see it. It's on the right defender, keeps him on. But I've never in my days, in my 20-plus years in soccer, have ever seen a goalie block the ball only for it to land on his back.
Hey, however, if it works, it works.
It works.
It worked right there. Very nice save coming out from Moreno. Keeps his team level. Lom with the interception. Not quite able to find his way to McKeever. McKeever tries to win that ball back. Here comes Velasquez. Not actually going to be able to pick it up. Somebody fouled there. I think McKeever was the one who actually eventually gets called for that. So,
well, you can already see what they're doing with those front two. They've got McKeever on top with 21 just right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, it's their classic strike partnership.
Yeah, and,
I think
this midfield is just doing a yeoman's work right now in these first 19 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we saw them. I'm going to be honest. I think they completely blundered during the game versus Dalton. They ended up putting the two poachers up top where both guys are trying to have the same space. I think this partnership works really, really well with Rebeldo and McKeever. Now, I will say I'd be worried about starting McKeever only because if this goes to extra time, I don't know how much longer you're going to be able to keep him out there when he's the one that's going to be doing most of the running today. Dribbling his way around the man. There's Foster. Foster lays it off. Here's White. White takes a shot. Not going to challenge the keeper too much. But as I was saying, the natural substitution for McKeever is Alerte, but once you sub off, you can't come back on. So do North Georgia ask McKeever to stay out the entire game into extra time if it comes, or are they willing to say, McKeever, do your part, Alerte will finish us off. Interesting questions that we'll have to wait till later to see. Damfa able to control the ball. That will put Kalonji in possession. Pavlovsky's pushed up a little bit. Here comes Sumo, left side, tracks the ball one-on-one here at the left back position. Goes around his man. Very soft foul from the referee. Maybe it's something we couldn't see. I guess it was probably a jersey tug, because
Yes.
Sumo knew almost immediately that that was a foul.
Yeah, we look at the replay because you can see the ball gets over the top to Sumo. Sumo's not going to beat you with speed. He's going to beat you with power. And you see right here, makes his way around the defender. Defender has no choice, just pulls on his jersey, pulls him back. Easy foul.
Yeah, and that's going to be Young, number 16, who will pick up a warning. No card shown just yet, but given this is postseason action, I'd be shocked if it takes too much more than that to pick up a card of some sort. Referee with the spray, setting up the wall. 3 men here from North Georgia, and it is White standing over the ball. We'll have to see. He is right-footed, so a shot on goal definitely could be on the cards, but also his very, 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 very tall colleagues. Ball going for the back post. Oh, it bounces out, it bounces in, but no, it's offsides. What a wild sequence of events. White puts it on goal, gets around the keeper, hits the back post, comes out, hits somebody in the thigh, and then drops in. And Larry, please take it away.
Yeah, we look at this replay. Absolutely one of the things that's just a beautiful take. Hits the post, gets past it, and then it gets deflected in, but he is clearly offsides, a Conquo.
Is he? Can you play that again? Well, we got a play going on, unfortunately, that may spoil our ability to replay, but make its way out to Lom. Lom cuts inside. Played down to the strike partnership. Played back across. North Georgia. Gonna pick up the foul, and that does give us a chance. Because the offsides would have to be from the initial kick, because I don't think anyone plays it afterwards. I'm just curious. Now obviously, this isn't going to change the play.
Yeah, we see the ball whipped in.
Yeah. Okay, that's offsides.
Yeah.
Good idea. Very close. I mean,
it was clever.
Yeah. When he gets that close to the post, it's a 50-50 whether it's going to bounce out or it's going to bounce in, and unfortunately for White, it just doesn't find its way. I believe this is Lom standing over the ball here. Ball played into the box. Nobody were there. Dante playing it out wide. Here comes the race. Down that right wing. Gonna lay it off. Kalonji happy to play this slower game. Foster found on this left side. Tries to play it into the feet of Sumo. Can't quite find it. Handball claims. Referee's gonna say no. Conquo tries to put it through the legs of the defender. Not gonna find it. In very good defensive work there to put it out for a throw-in. I believe that's Orlana, number 17, coming across the formation to be the savior North Georgia needed in that moment. Here comes Sumo with the throw-in. Finds Dante, gonna receive it back. 2 men on him. Dante picks it up from him, near side, plays it through, finds his man. Dante, clear space, takes a shot on goal, and oh, he should have done better with that. Finds, that 2 yards of space that really those attackers only need in, and just gets so close to putting it in.
You see here, he just gets a little too excited when he receives the ball. Sumo working hard between the 2 defenders, slides it over, a little bit of a give and go. Takes it, he's a little bit off center when he takes the shot, and he shoots it wide.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is going to be those small moments. It's going to be who can convert those tiny moments first that's going to be able to take control of this game. Potentially already the first sorts of adaptations for this Kalonji side. Those wingers are starting to get a little bit more comfortable just possessing the ball in those corner spaces. Let the team come forward and then try to play through in force. Let Dante, let White let Pavlovsky get involved, and that's how you break through these 2 lines of 4 that North Georgia have rolled out in front of them. Throw in, finds Lom, tries to play it inside. Can't quite find its way to JJ. Pavlovsky on the ball. Driving down this near side. Ball goes out. Which way? Will be called for Kalonji.
But Steven, that's the Kalonji way, is as they grow into the match, they start to double team you, and they start to just use that experience and that size.
Yeah, I mean, they have very technical players, probably some of the most technical players in the league, and definitely some of the biggest. So they are able to body you off, but it's a bit of a departure from how they've been playing, where it's been the Sumo, Okonkwo, and Camden show. But I think they look the best when they can get those others involved. When Dante comes in, when White comes in, when Pavlovsky makes a nightmarish run from one box to the other box to the other. Nightmarish is in terms of I do not want to do it, but it looks very nice. It's a dream for Kalonji fans, but a nightmare for the runner. When you can make those runs and you can get that second line of attackers in, that's when Kalonji really are firing on all cylinders. And it's going to be this chess match, this kind of tit-for-tat of slight adaptations that's going to determine the outcome of this game and who moves forward to the semifinals.
Yeah, because, this is, you got to remember, Kalonji's been here numerous times. They
This ain't
have
their first
all
rodeo.
the experience in the world. And what they're going to look for is they're going to look for North Georgia to make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, is North Georgia's side certainly is one that's going to have to continue to grow into their position. Not a lot of top-flight experience in knockout stages here in the UPSL, so it is something that they're going to be learning all the way through, but we'll have to see whether or not they have enough and they have what it takes. Another corner kick going to be coming here for Kalonji. They looked dangerous the last time they got lined up in the corner. Let's see if they can do it again. Bodies in the box, mostly top of that PK area. Goes across. Falls to Okonkwo. Hits a defender. Okonkwo gets another shot at it out wide. Recycle here for Kalonji. Hits another defender. Okonkwo once again on the ball. Can't quite get his footing. Gonna lay it off to the outside. In swinger. Header. Way over top. Kalonji with multiple calls for a handball. I don't think they got the case there, but another dangerous sequence of play, and another one where North Georgia's going to have to be feeling a little lucky to come out with a clean sheet still.
We'll take a look at it ourselves and see if we think it was a handball. You can see as this outswinger comes in, it finds its way right into the middle. Okonkwo takes the shot. I don't think it was. It looked like it bounced off of McKeever. He's got his arms tucked in. I don't see that being a handball.
I mean, what really is a handball in the modern game anymore? Who knows? But yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything near malicious there. North Georgia ball over the top. McKeever going to try to chase this one down, but comfortably controlled and headed. Pavlovsky can't quite find it. Here's Lum and company. North Georgia win that one with the support of JJ. Ball in over the top. Finds McKeever, slotted in way on the right. Aggressive tackle. Pavlovsky's boot comes flying off as a result. It will end up being a foul. Now, I'll give it to you. When you get tackled so hard your boot flies off, it's a pretty easy call for the referee, but
that's a simple one.
It's kind of that free space in the middle of the bingo board as far as officiating goes.
Yeah, that one's a clear one. You know who was the fouler and who was the foulee.
Oh, yeah. So unless he's wearing some of those those laceless boots, which I would hope to gosh he's not. It's going to work for him. Foster. Tricky footwork to get around Law. Makes it look easy. Plays the ball through. He's got Sumo one-on-one. Sumo just doesn't have that extra step. But what a run and move that was from Foster.
But, it's just like you were saying a little bit ago. North Georgia United knew from the moment.
McKeever through on goal. In a wide position. Has support from Lam cutting in and has the far man. Just absolutely posts up on Pavlovsky. Trying to find its way back to McKeever. Rebeldo not going to be able to control it now. Finding its way wide. Here comes Camden. Camden down that left side. Looks like he swapped back with Okonkwo. Trying to drive around the outside of his man. Not quite going to find its way through. Good defending coming out from Young to keep that ball in front of him. But now, corner kick. Another one for Kalonji. Camden lining up over it. Everyone at that back post. Ball comes in. Just barely misses a header. Pavlovsky can only clear it defensively. Gonna fall to him once again. Miscommunication. Now here comes the run the other way. North Georgia on the ball. Valencia taking up that midfield position. Lays it off out wide. can't keep possession of it. Sloppy play both ways. Foster lays it back.
But again, to finish what I was saying, North Georgia knew the moment that they parked in this parking lot how Kalonji was going to play this match.
Yeah, and I mean, it is that natural progression. Dante on the ball, lays it back off to Foster. Kalonji taking their time, building up this attack, making North Georgia work for it. Kate. Ball played out of bounds. Will be Kalonji ball still.
One thing that you noticed on that last little play is that when Kalonji lost possession, Pavlovsky had to make the choice. Do I attack or do I hold back and get ready to defend?
Yeah.
And he chose the latter, which you can really see that they, at some degree, they accepted that a challenge from North Georgia.
Yeah, it seemed like that, as well as a bit of miscommunication. Thinking someone else is going to pick up the ball, ends up being North Georgia. North Georgia, McKeever in the middle of the pitch, has some support to his left, plays it down that left wing, but it is just too close to the defenders. Jerwu on that right-sided center back, able to close down and eliminate the defense, the threat from Valencia. I think it will still actually be Kalonji ball too. Kalonji defensive throw-in, finds its way to Dante. Dante's immediately swarmed, but it's able to play his way out of it. Back to Henry, who really hasn't, actually he has been challenged tonight. Maybe not as much as Moreno, but still a clean sheet on the board due to the work of the goalkeepers, more so than the work of the defenders at the moment. Good defending, but great goalkeeping, I'd say. Almost tripping over the ball here on that right side. Forced to play it all the way back to Damfa. Damfa's got Forster to his left. Being closed down. Rebeldo not able to force him out. McKeever tries to get to it, not finding it as well. There's Figueroa playing it back to the midfield. Here's Pavlotsky on the ball, left side, finds Foster. Back to Pavlotsky. Pavlotsky, time to look. Ball played through, beautiful ball through. Sumo going shoulder to shoulder. But Orlana able to handle the much larger Sumo. Ball picked up over the top of Lotsky, steals it away. Good defensive work here for Kalonji. Foster on the ball, back heel. Just absolutely collides with Lom. Looked to do a step over, got taken down, and I already see a card available for the referee. That's going to be a yellow card caution awarded to Lom. Will be the first of the match.
Yeah, really no choice. He had to pull the card out on this. You can see here on this play, Pavlotsky slots it over to Tachi. Tachi goes over to Forster, and as he makes his way around Lom, he just takes one shot right to the face.
Yeah, Lom really not anticipating the move there, and almost expect Foster to pull up and slow down a little bit, but he didn't, and two people just collided. It looked like some hands came up from Lom. Foster did end up clutching his face, so I guess there was something there. Once again, not malicious, but certainly a reckless challenge and fully deserving of the yellow card. A little bit concerning still in the first half. Lom is probably the best playmaker, if not at least one of the best playmakers available for North Georgia. So the entire North Georgia coaching staff is going to be telling Lom hey, we need you to see out this game. I think he is a pretty typical sub around the 70th to 80th minute to come off, so maybe he won't make the full duration today, but we'll see what he can do with the time remaining on the pitch.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned about with North Georgia, watching some of their defense in the midfield, I'm starting to see pockets of space in the central park. Ooh. And if Coach Bruno can get some conversation going at halftime, Kalonji might be able to exploit some of those spaces.
Dante plays the ball down the wing, finds Camden. Ball will go out. Kalonji still in possession here. 35th minute of play. About 10 plus stoppage time left to go here in the first half. Still 0-0 here in the UPSL Premier Division. Coverage brought to you by ASMG. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the quarterfinals. Winner will move on to play either Atlanta United Academy or Dalton. Good back heel from Dante. Finds his way through once again, but finally cleared away from Perkle. But, yeah, so the winner will either play Atlanta United Academy, which I believe if
Yeah,
if Kalonji win, they'll play Atlanta United.
Yes.
If North Georgia win, as a header goes through from North Georgia, they will play Dalton.
Yes.
So that would be an interesting rematch of not only the final week of the season, but the North Georgia Derby. Opposite venue as last time, as Dalton would be the hosts instead of North Georgia. Might mean that Dalton get to have a few more players on their feet for longer in the match, because that pitch over in North Georgia is a bit of a slip and slide.
Yeah, Dalton getting the opportunity to, since being the top seed, they're going to face whoever the lower seed is going to be.
Yeah, setting up here for the corner kick. Kalonji would love to take something into the half here. Comes across, deflected, bouncing in the box, picked up, played across. Velasquez able to play it through. A lot of shouts coming from this home crowd. Believe there was a handball somewhere in there. Referee says no way. Valencia on that far side. Able to check it in. Aggressive defending coming out will lead to a North Georgia free kick opportunity.
Yeah, that time it's not even worth looking at a replay on that ball that was come in on that corner, because it wasn't even close to being more of a handball than the last time. It was clearly not. But you look here on this foul, working hard on this right-hand side, just steps in, and clearly a foul. Going to be a set piece.
He leaves the junk in the trunk out there a little bit too long and ends up catching an attacker. It works, no foul, but will lead to a North Georgia free kick in a dangerous situation. McKeever's got to be target number one, you got to think. He's got the height advantage on the majority of his teammates, but some clever legs coming out from Robeldo, Valencia, or Lom could help them here. Lom at that back post.
You know, the one thing, even though North Georgia is the young team in this matchup, they're really good.
Setting up over the ball, here comes North Georgia. Taking some times with the shoelaces. In swinger coming through, across the box. Lom, tries to find JJ on that back post. Lom actually had pulled off. North Georgia, very poor attempt there, unfortunately. And that's going to sap anything they were hoping to build up out of that play, right out of it.
So they've been really good at set pieces so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, especially when they can find a set piece that they can find McKeever or Alerte's boot on the end of it. But as the goal differential shows, those goals are definitely far and few between. Potential handball not going to be called. Playing out of the back, Young unable to keep it out, but his partner in crime, Parkle, fellow defender there, is going to be able to keep it out of their defensive third. Throwing here for Kalonji. Okonkwo leaves it for White. Right, that's Foster who ends up picking it up. Referee is going to get his measuring stick out and tell him exactly where Foster can take this throw in. Posted up, header to the left side. Here comes Camden. Camden plays the ball across the box, going to find the head of the defender. Now potential break here from North Georgia. McKeever's got room, unable to get the ball under, and Valencia will put the ball out for a throw-in. Kalonji going to be the benefactors there. And ladies and gentlemen, as we enter the 39th minute of the game, and a bit of tensions potentially starting to brew here, do take a look up at the sky as we do see some clouds rolling in. We'll be curious to see how the conditions change as the match continues. A little bit of shade from the Georgia sun in the summer. Never going to be out of order. Ball played across, doesn't find anyone's head, or rather finds the head of Young who checks in. Robeldo finds the ball, tries to get its way to McKeever. McKeever, one-on-one. Bit of a heavy step, can't quite dispossess Jerwu. Out to Foster on this left side. Ball played up top, heavy touch coming through from Okonkwo. Okonkwo lays it off into the midfield. Here's Dante. Dante lays it off down that right side. Dante available again. Dante receives, finding his way to the right wing. Diakate. Ball played into the middle. Okonkwo, ball at his feet, and it's a shot, and it's a goal! Kalonji open up the scoring with 5 minutes to go in the first half, and it just falls to Okonkwo, and he does what he does best, and he puts it in the back of the net.
Yeah, you look at this, a little bit of luck is all Kalonji needed here. You see this ball moved out on the right-hand flank, one time sent into the box. It bounces off of a defender, and Okonkwo just steps past the last center back and just puts it in the back of the net for the first goal.
the life of a striker. I would rather be lucky than skilled any day of the week, and so will Kalonji. 1-0 going into the half would be a phenomenal result here for Kalonji. And this forces a bit of a change of mentality out of North Georgia. Now they need to equalize. It's not like they've been, parking the bus per se, but this could change a few of their decision-making processes of getting more men forward, potentially being more exposed in the back. But with another 50 minutes to go in the match, plus stoppage time, there is time for the away team to equalize. Finding Lam over the top, way over the top. Lam ends up catching back up to it, able to control it. Beautifully played around Foster, but the support ends up coming through.
Yeah, this is
Jerwoo.
When I look at North Georgia, they've had a solid 41 minutes of play. Their attacking has been starting to slow down as we've gone on. They need to get back into this match.
Yeah. I think they've just been lacking a little bit of a creative touch in the last few minutes. Speaking of which, Lam with the throw-in. Touch the inside. Able to keep it in. JJ dispossessed. Now we're going the other way. Okonkwo, our goal scorer of the match so far. He's on the ball, ends up laying it off. Big ball over the top. Moreno able to neutralize that attack. Valencia lays it off down that left side. Back to Valencia. Can't quite keep control of it. Here comes a Kalonji attack. 3-on-3 in the defense. Driving forward. Sumo tries to go around the man. Fortunately does go around him, but right into the waiting arms of Moreno. McKeever able to take it down. He's in space, but just surrounded on all sides by Kalonji. Laid off Valencia. Worked off the ball. JJ dispossessed Pavlotsky. He's on the ground. Kalonji. I think they're going to give Pavlotsky a little bit of time to get back up. The workhorse of Kalonji. Playing it way right. Sumo. I think he's on sides. Yeah, flag stays down. He's got no support, though. He's one-on-one with the defender. Will eventually lay it back off. Dispossessed North Georgia, able to pick it up here. Rebeldo, man at his back. There's Jerwoo on him. Jerwoo forces a pass. Ends up being defensive. JJ on the ball. Has Lam to his right. McKeever up top. Rebeldo's trying to recover to his top position. Here's McKeever on the ball. Decides to play it back to Lam. Lam through on goal, but in such a wide position. Foster beats him in a foot race. Will end up putting the ball back for a goal kick. And with 1 minute to go left in the half, I feel like we've seen about all we're going to see in the half.
Yeah, the touch kind of let Lam down there. And, when we go back and we look at the other side, we've talked about Sumo several times about the one part of his game that's a little lacking is his footwork. Yeah. He gets those opportunities where he gets into space, but he's just not able to do something with it.
Yeah, and I think we're also seeing a bit of a mismatch in this near side. Foster is fast. Lam's fast, but not quite as fast as Foster. So Lam really has to be the playmaker, not the play receiver. And the fact that Valencia's on the other side, he likes to cut in. He's not kind of the guy that's going to go to the byline. Means that, Pavlotsky down once again. Means that right back is freed up quite a bit for Kalonji. Diakate, number 24. But we're looking down at that right side. Sumo on the ball, cuts the inside. He's on the right foot. He's on the left foot. Rips a shot, hits the American upright. Head goes down a little bit as he knows he should have had something a little closer on that one. But Kalonji still controlling possession. Going into halftime. Big ball over the top. JJ and Pavlotsky battle. Pavlotsky's on the ground. Pavlotsky will win a free kick for his troubles. That is a man who is probably known more time on his ass than on his feet this game. But that's a box-box midfielder if I've ever seen one. 1 minute of free time, 1 minute of stoppage time, I believe, is the call. Ball played over. finds its way into that back post. Camden on the ball, tries to put it back. Defender on the ground, able to put one across the face of the goal. Moreno up to that challenge. Here's Velasquez in a very tricky situation, tries to play it over top, doesn't quite find its way through. Played back inside Camden. Camden still in possession, sworn by 2 members, only has 2 outlets behind him. Will take one of them. Here's Foster, and as the rain begins to fall here at Shiloh Stadium, so too will the game come to its natural conclusion in the first half. One more attack potentially here for North Georgia. 2 minutes of stoppage time is actually the call. Henry able to keep that ball out of dangerous position, and Kalonji, I think they're just going to be looking to kill the clock here. Blatant pull in the back, but here's Sumo off to the races. He's one-on-one with the keeper. Gets the last touch. It's in the net. It's good! 2 goals to the good. Kalonji go into the half in absolute control of this game, and what a run from Sumo.
Sumo that time made us eat our own words because it was his footwork that saved the day there. You can see here just completely tugging him back with all that they have. He's not going to be stopped, and he just able to lift the ball past the keeper and nothing that they could do. It's into the back of the net. We go into halftime 2-0, Kalonji Pro Profile.
Yeah, and there will at least be one more kickoff. I wonder how much time the referee is going to allow us past this kick. I don't expect it to be too much. North Georgia, I mean, the last few minutes, the floodgates have opened. And that, super defense of the wingers. And here's what we kind of said before. We said that North Georgia, they're going to feel the pressure to push further up. That's going to put less emphasis on their defending. And it opens up room for the wingers of Kalonji. Pavlotsky takes the ball away. Now to Sumo. Kalonji able to dwell on the ball. Here's Dante. Foster on the near side. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, as we blow for halftime here at Shiloh Community Stadium. It's Kalonji Pro Profile leading North Georgia United 2-0 in this crucial UPSL Premier Division quarterfinal matchup. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, playoff lives are on the line, and only a phenomenal second half comeback can save North Georgia from their season's Grim Reaper. Don't leave and don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back here on YouTube with ASMG's coverage of the UPSL Premier Division postseason. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Shiloh Community Stadium here at Charlie Jordan Field, ASMG's coverage of the UPSL Premier Division postseason. As you may have noticed, the sunny Georgia day has made way to a nice late afternoon sprinkle, but unfortunately it has brought some lightning with it. So we are currently in a 30-minute thunder lightning delay. If we go to an hour where we can't restart the game, we will consider whether or not the game will be abandoned or not. If it's abandoned, we'll start up a following game from halftime, given that we already have had a half played. But we'll be doing everything we can to get action back underway here at Shiloh Stadium as Kalonji do lead North Georgia 2-0. Well, that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. We will keep you up to date and posted. As soon as we hear anything, we'll update you guys on the stream right here in chat. Do stick around. We're hoping to get you some more action coming up in not too long here. ASMG's coverage of UPSL Premier Division. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Shiloh Community Stadium here at Charlie Jordan Field. My name's Stephen Johnson, joined still by Larry Weaver. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us through that rain delay as we are just about to get back underway here for the quarterfinal action. UPSL Premier Division quarterfinals, Kalonji Pro Profile, the hosts, currently lead North Georgia United 2-0. Larry, that was a very long delay. Who do you think has really benefited from this?
Like we were talking about at halftime, I really think it's going to be North Georgia that are going to be on the back end side of it because, like we said, they've had too much time to think, too many times of wanting to change systems because they're known to change their system again and again and again.
Yeah.
Could they step away from that 4-4-2 diamond, move something into a 4-3-3 or something? What could they do?
I think that's really interesting you bring it up because one of the biggest things for North Georgia coming into this game was their formation. They knew that they're going to have a hard time dealing with that front three of Kalonji, Okonkwo, Sumo, and Camden. And to be fair, two of those three currently have goals, so I think it's the right place you got to look at. So they shifted into that 4-4-2. Two lines of four in the back, helping that defensively. But now they're having come out of their shells a little bit and push further up the pitch. Question for me is, do they maybe turn more into a bit of a 4-3-3? Get that extra man up the pitch, push Lom further up. Valencia should come in. Who plays that left wing? I don't really know. Maybe it's, maybe we finally see the appearance of Alerte, number 19 for North Georgia United. Maybe we see some other kind of move around, but I do worry that North Georgia do have a tendency to overthink their strategy sometimes, and they were just given a lot of time to pull a Pep Guardiola there.
Yeah, because what you see is we saw in that first half, Lom was pretty much the workhorse for that attack for North Georgia United. He really didn't have anyone assisting him. They need to find another avenue. Both sides, though, were using the right side of the pitch as their exclusive path towards the goal. I think that they both need to look at finding more sources of attack.
Yeah, and it's also just kind of the nature of the game. As the game goes on, you're going to find more direct play over the top. Defenders get tired, legs get stiff, and nobody wants to make those runs anymore. But you're right. I think Kalonji focused a lot down that left side. You mentioned it before that they were on the near side quite a bit, and that starts with Foster, who's had a really good game on him from that left back position. A little bit further up the pitch, he's been finding a rotating cast of Okonkwo, Camden. White's been making his way into that area a little bit, and Pavlotsky's with support. Whereas North Georgia United, you also mentioned, it's been Lom here on that right wing. I think he's the only true winger in the game right now. Valencia on that far side, the left side, has really tried to tuck inside. He's had a really difficult time getting through his direct man markers, and I don't know where they go from here. That's why I say maybe a 4-3-3, move Valencia up, join that front three, move Lom up, join that front three, give yourself a wider option here and more options to play through the middle. But this is a tough task. At Kalonji's home pitch, they now need to come up with 2 goals out of nowhere in order to stay alive in this competition.
You know, it's been very, very few that you've even called Valencia's name for
And it's
North
not been in a
Georgia.
good way.
No. They really need to find some source. Because, like we talked about, North Georgia started playing more wide, and they started leaving open spaces in the midfield, and Kalonji started to exploit those.
Yeah, and Kalonji have really had a very measured approach to this match. They haven't thrown everyone forward. They've done the thing they've always do, and that is push the front three up the pitch, have Pavlotsky kind of shuttle the ball to them, and they've used Foster as well on the near side. But they're not committing 5, 6, 7 guys forward. But that's what North Georgia want. North Georgia are built for you to overcommit and then hit you with McKeever or Alerte on the back on the backside. But because Kalonji are never really biting, it's forcing North Georgia to try to play through Kalonji, and especially on that left wing, they're just getting outmatched. So I think there's going to have to be a change, whether it's back to a system they're a little bit more familiar with. I could even see them maybe moving back to a back 5, maybe drop people further back, have the defensive 3 there. There are options. The question is, it's a trade-off of bringing something new and exciting to the table, but how prepared are you going to be for it? And that's the crux of UPSL soccer. How much can you prep your players for?
Yeah. Because when we talk about Kalonji, like we were saying in the first half, North Georgia knew the moment that they parked here at Shiloh Stadium how Kalonji were going to play. It's 11 individual players more than it is a complete organized
Yeah.
team. So you know that it's hard to anticipate what Kalonji's going to do because everybody works individually.
Yeah, there's always the ideal that a team should be more than the sum of its parts. Kalonji don't quite live up to that, but they are. It is because they just have a bunch of very talented players on the wings through the central that are better on their own than necessarily finding the combination plays. And at this level, you really just have to embrace what makes you good. And if Kalonji have really good playmakers, let them make plays. And it makes it very hard for sides that don't have the depth of defenders like North Georgia to step up with. It worked in the first half when they were able to double team those corners and just take people out of the game. But now they're getting opened up because they're having to commit those wings forward. And when the wings are forward, all of a sudden those wide defensive players are one-on-one. And, it's been a good shift so far from Young and from Figueroa, but it's not been perfect. And now that they're not in a position where they don't just need to stop the attack from Kalonji, they got to find two the other way.
Yeah, the last thing I would say for North Georgia, if I'm McKeever, I need to know that I don't need to do it all myself, because if he does that, he's going to take himself out of the match.
Yeah, I think the last thing I want to hit on here for North Georgia is that they do have an option of bringing Alerte on. Alerte and McKeever are very similar players. They both want to be that poacher, last touch goal scorer, which I think would be the absolute incorrect decision to play them alongside each other. But if they move one out to the wing, one through the central, and start to separate them and give them both space to do their own thing, that could be an interesting attacking move for them. And I will say, it's been a very suboptimal game from Rebeldo, number 24, who's been the strike partner for McKeever so far. I'd be very cautious with that. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a quicker look at what this match means. Obviously, we are here, UPSL Georgia Premier Division playoffs. The winner of this matchup will move on to those semifinals. Loser goes out. And because we have a dynamic seeding, this is what it's going to look like. If Kalonji, as the highest remaining seed, win this matchup, they will be going over to Atlanta United Academy, over to their training grounds next week. On the other side, if North Georgia were to make the comeback win, they would actually be headed back home against North Georgia rivals Dalton United for another North Georgia derby, but this time in Dalton's home court.
Yeah, if I was Kalonji Pro Profile, I want that Atlanta United Academy match because they embarrassed them in that matchup, in that 6-2 victory, and they can go back to Atlanta United's Academy's training ground, and they can go back and prove a point.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit of bruised egos last time they were out there. To be fair, they did basically play their second team just due to the workload of matches they had, both in and out of the UPSL. I don't see them having those sorts of issues, and it'll be really interesting to see a full-strength Kalonji versus a full-strength Atlanta United. But, of course, this is only half the action of the quarterfinals round. We had another matchup just last night.
Yeah, and I really have to get my hat off to what I consider the Cinderella team of the playoffs, that being Los Tigres, Club the Strongest, because their parent team in Bolivia wants them in the playoffs. And they've struggled to get there, and they finally they put in a hard shift late in the season to make it.
I will have to say, Club the Strongest did what they needed to do at the end of the season to get themselves just barely above that playoff line. Though I have to say, they're kind of a Cinderella story. If Cinderella had put herself up for adoption and then put herself with the terrible stepmother, but then found a way out of it. So the back end of that story I agree with. And they've always been this team of hots and colds, but I think I mentioned it before on our last podcast that it doesn't really matter what you do during the middle and early of the season. It's how you finish. And Club the Strongest, they have found a way to finish. But ladies and gentlemen, as those finish, we're looking to just get started here as both teams are coming together at center pitch. Should be getting kicked off shortly. The Blues are out. The sun is shining here at Charlie Jordan Field here at Shiloh Community Stadium. The second half of the UPSL Premier Division quarterfinals coming to you just a few moments. And the huddles have broken. The chants have been made. And North Georgia United and Kalonji Pro Profile are taking to the pitch once more at Shiloh Stadium, home of the Generals here in the UPSL Premier Division. Two teams walking on. Only one of them can walk off while still in the playoffs here. Looks like, I don't think there are going to be too many substitutions here. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Just kind of checking our sheets. Actually, hold on. Robeldo is currently on the bench, number 21. Was the striking. So perhaps there's been a change up top. Yep. Oh, no. Alerte's on the pitch. Robeldo's off the pitch. And you know what that means. That means that Alerte, and McKeever are playing alongside each other. Lom also seems to make the long trek over to the left wing now. So potentially freeing up a little space for McKeever on that right wing. But this didn't work last time. But, I mean, they're two high-powered players, but they just do the same thing.
Yeah, that was the one thing that we talked about at halftime that we didn't want to see. We didn't want to see a chance where they thought too much into it and they end up with overthinking.
All right, well, I believe that is the only substitutions we've made. Playing a little bit as a front three, it looks like, with McKeever slotting onto that right side, Lom on the left. Valencia holding back a little bit more in the midfield, still as the rightmost member of that midfield four, but potentially looking for a bit of a higher press with some fresh legs out of Alerte. Kalonji, you got to think that they just need to maintain control of this game. I'd say maybe an extra goal would really put this match to rest, but certainly with 45 more minutes to go, anything can happen here. Almost played to the middle, picked up by 23. Camden lays it out wide. Sumo not going to be the recipient, but falls to Dante. Dante lays it off. Our good defend Foster plays that back around. Looks like there has been another substitution. Number 35 for Kalonji is in on the right side. He's going to be trying to run onto the end of this ball. Takes a heavy touch. Will commit the foul. So North Georgia will be getting a free kick in a defensive position. Just checking our notes real quick to make sure we've got everyone accounted for. It's always our favorite point of the match where people just kind of start appearing.
Who's going to be the next substitute on this?
Exactly. It's our favorite game show. So number 35 for Kalonji was not listed on their roster. Yeah, I got nothing. So number 35 checking in for the near side. North Georgia having to play it back around. The arrival of Alerte and McKeever means that they're going to have to split time up top there. Ball goes over top, finds a way to Lom. Lom on the left side. Has Alerte running through. Alerte trying to get on the end of this. McKeever in the top of the box. Alerte, heavy touch, puts him all the way at the corner flag. Plays it back across with no real menace. Ball goes up. Sumo not going to be able to get to it. Ends up going to Velasquez. JJ on the ball. Velasquez. Valencia. Out to McKeever. McKeever can't get the ball under him. Good defensive work there from Damfa to prevent North Georgia from finding the comeback goal. North Georgia taking the throw in. JJ unable to control it. Finds its way to the right wing. Number 35. Plays it down the line, but just a bit too far. I don't believe Camden's going to be able to get on the end of that one. Moreno. Big ball through. Finds Pavlotsky. Pavlotsky can't bring it down, but Foster will. Worked off the ball. Here comes North Georgia. Driving through the middle. Alerte and McKeever. McKeever is going to be the one on the end of this one. Not able to get there in time. North Georgia, though. That front two is really starting to pressure the back line of Kalonji. But the issue then becomes, how do we get the ball to the top two? Throw in comes. North Georgia working it around. Touch from JJ out to Valencia. Can't quite find its way inside. Will end up going all the way out for the corner, for the goal kick. Definitely a little bit of a lax feeling has fallen over Shiloh Stadium. Kalonji know that they are in the driver's seat, and as long as they contain the attack from North Georgia, they should be in charge. Alerte, the recipient of a very lucky ball, ends up bouncing off of JJ. Alerte attacked from the rear. Lom, ball across. Nobody at that post. And here's what we're talking about with that wide player in Valencia. Valencia just keeps floating inside, is not really adding the width that they need to that attack. So, not going to find anyone there in the back post. Ball over top. Camden trying to run on to the end of this one from Pavlatsky. Kalonji will end up getting the free kick, getting a throw-in rather, in the final third. All the way to that back post, 35 on the ball. Left-footed effort. It looks like a lofted cross that just can't find its recipient. North Georgia sent on a little bit of a run to go pick that one up, but Moreno will get us back started. Playoff Live still on the line here. Moreno winding up. Big ball over the top. Lerte not able to get on the end of that one. Kalonji play it down. Not quite able to find Sumo on that side. Now back up to Lom. Lom driving. Lays it off. Lerte back to Lom. Good one too. Absolutely collected here on the near side by Jerwu. Big threat in the midfield would be on. You can't be offsides on a throw-in, ladies and gentlemen, just to those who maybe see McKeever making some very aggressive moves. Velasquez. Oh, back to the back line. Perkle almost dispossessed, but ends up making it all the way down that right side. McKeever's unable to keep the ball in. Jerwu. Back to Damfa. North Georgia press starting to creep in. Pavlotsky takes a heavy touch. Pavlotsky all the way out wide. Laying a ball off for White. Here's Dante. Dante with 35 on his inside. Jerwu back to Dante. Pavlotsky. Damfa comfortably on the ball. Starting to drive down this left-hand side. Finds the wing. Kalonji are just so comfortable in possession right now. There's an attempted press coming through from North Georgia, but it's just really, it's not making Kalonji sweat at all. They feel firmly in control. Offsides from the fullback, number 35. Our mystery player who has so far been the only substitute for Kalonji.
Well, you see Pavlotsky playing back almost more of like a stopper position. He's playing very defensively for Kalonji right now.
Yeah, and especially when North Georgia, with the addition of Alerte, have clearly tried to step up the field a little more, have that high press. Pavlotsky's been the answer. He's dropping back in, be that additional option in the build-up, and you know he's got the legs for it. Pavlotsky, speaking of which, playing it all the way out to Foster. On that far side, White not able to find his way through traffic. Should be another Kalonji throw-in. Pavlotsky's got a few words he'd like to say to the referee.
We'll take a look at that because it did look like a little bit of a foul as he was making that run. You see it down here on this left-hand side. He makes the turn. He starts to pull, and he gets a little bit of a tug on his shorts.
Yeah.
And he holds up and I think that was more got lucky on the call.
Yeah, and especially as the match goes on, a team in a losing position, they tend to be a little bit more rough with the way that they make challenges. So to keep you up to speed, Lam is currently the only member here with a card. He has a yellow card. Young has been warned. Interesting attempt. Can't quite find its way through traffic for Kalonji. Looked like Dante, who made a bit of a late diving effort to get his body ready for that one. Couldn't quite find her. Actually, that may have been a Conquo, who is slotting into that left-handed winger position. Camden at the top of the formation. Sumo still on the right. Moreno pushing his team up the pitch. Big ball over the top. Can't quite find its way down. Second ball one from McKeever. Controlled. Out to Sumo. Sumo on the ball. Back post. Oh, it just hits the American crossbar. What a missed opportunity for Kalonji. Could have put this game to bed with a 3-0 lead, but instead they keep North Georgia in it, and automatically here comes the counterattack from North Georgia. Beautifully worked. You don't see it very often from Kalonji, but a great run from Okonkwo. Just can't find the last touch. He was absolutely free on goal, gets too much under it, sends it skyward. Kalonji have already won back possession. Alerte may have won the ball back with that challenge. Valencia cutting in through the midfield. Dispossessed. Sumo not able to maintain possession. Shove in the back. That is lucky for Sumo to get away for that one with no card. Pavlotsky, he's on the ball now, driving forward. Kalonji working their way into an aggressive position. Pavlotsky looking for the run. No foul on the challenge. Looks like a little bit of karma coming back the other way. North Georgia. McKeever. And that's the issue. It's McKeever and Alerte. They're just sitting on the back shoulders of two very fast defenders. They're doing the same thing.
But at the same time, like we talked about, they need to communicate. They need to know what's going on with one another.
Sumo, ball through. Oh, just barely dribbles away from him. Looked like a good run through. But yeah, they need to communicate, but they need to do, they need to have different roles. They both can't be the guy. The guy is one guy. They have two guys. Those are those guys, or them guys. They need the guy. So they need to drop the M and figure out who's doing what. Like I said, maybe shift one of them into a true winger position. Ball send wildly over the top.
This will give us an opportunity to look at that chance by Sumo that was just a few moments ago.
Speaking of pain.
You look at this great opportunity. He gets it through. What a beautiful ball to him. And it just right across. It was a great pass, great one-time pass.
It was bouncing in. Yeah, when it comes across, you can see it's just taking that bounce. He's expecting it to be on the ground. He puts his foot under it, and it just goes skyward. And to be fair, you really can't take too many touches with that because, the goalkeeper's right there. But he's definitely going to want to have that one back. Still is not the decisive goal just yet, but certainly could prove to be so. McKeever picking up the ball in the attacking third. Ends up going out. McKeever with the throw-in. Big ball finds JJ. Back to McKeever. Dispossessed. Driving the other way. Kalonji. McKeever on the recovery runs. Commits the foul. Pavlotsky. Back to Dafma. Foster. Camden whistled. Velasquez. Over to Figueroa. Lam not able to get on the end of it, but 35 gets a touch. Lam will be back on the ball. Heavy touch once again. Pavlotsky absolutely pickpockets him. Great defensive effort from Pavlotsky. Wins Kalonji back the ball, and they're moving forward. Sumo goes foot to foot. Can't quite win the race. Pavlotsky down on the dirt once again. No good deed goes unpunished in this league, and Pavlotsky really is getting familiar with the turf here at Shiloh Stadium.
Well, and you see the frustration from the defensive line of North Georgia because they're just getting ran rabid right now.
Yeah, and it's not the the thing is that North Georgia are pushing so far up the pitch. Kalonji are no longer having to find the corners. They're running the channels. And when you find the channels between defenders, it's so easy to slip through. Here's big ball over top. Can't quite find its target. White sends right back to center. White's actually able to maintain possession here. Ball played across the box. Almost an own goal from number 17 from Orlana. Go ahead and watch that replay. Orlana almost just becomes the villain of North Georgia. Well, in the meantime, McKeever and Alerte, they're off to the races. Once again, trying to get around the man. McKeever, shoulder to shoulder. That's a PK. That has to be a PK. What? How is that not a PK? Get that replay instead. That has to be the most egregious non-call I have ever seen in UPSL, if that's not the way.
Well, look at this. I agree with you 100%. You see here, McKeever's making his way around the defender. The defender just grabs him and pulls him down. That should have been a penalty.
Okay, so devil's advocate. Only way I see that as not a penalty is if he's saying that McKeever was just as egregious with basically trying to shove him to the ground. That's a free kick at least. That is uncontestable. Yellow card awarded. I don't see to who. I believe that's the number. There's no number 2. I was going to say number 2. Actually, there's number 2. Giroux. I think that's a yellow card to Giroux. That is a. I'll be honest. That's a bad. Like, I'm curious to understand the ref's ideology, my thinking process with that.
And Giroux, the player that had brought McKeever down just a few moments ago, and you see this ball lost by Kalonji, making their way up through the middle of the pitch, and he just steps and just takes out the attack of North Georgia.
Well, that'll certainly be a point of contention, but we got to live in the now. We got Lam lining up over this with a 5 to 6 man wall here. Taken and skied. North Georgia. Felt like they just got robbed. Well, we'll have to see. Once again, no VAR means the ref's decision will stand, and we will continue play from here. .30 minutes still left to play in this contest. North Georgia not only looking for their first goal tonight, but they're looking for a first of 2 required to even send this to extra time. Whereas Kalonji are 20 minutes away from securing a trip over to Children's Healthcare's training grounds, the home of Atlanta United Academy. Lam through, can't quite find penetration on the shot. Lam just going over Pavlotsky. I think Pavlotsky is just an innocent bystander as Lam just attempts to hurdle him. Lam did take a pretty hard tumble on that, so I want to take as much time as it needs to make sure Lam is good and going. He's taking a few knocks tonight, but just absolutely gets tabled by Pavlotsky. Once again, I think he self-tables himself, but it's not going to hurt any less. Once again, Lam's one of those players that we typically see getting subbed out about the 80th minute. We'll be curious as to if that changes today, as we now enter the 63rd. Kalonji, ball through the middle, finding White. Rather finds Kim Dem. Ball played all the way across formation. Here's 35. He maybe threw on goal. Bad first touch. He's going to play back across. Shot taken by Okonkwo. Will fall to Camden. Kalonji, they may be smelling something. Good stop coming out for number 16. He's able to put it behind. Looks like for a corner kick. Oh, no, it's going to be a throw-in. That is a defensive effort from right back Young, who's able to keep that ball on the sideline.
And I have to say, we may not know 35's name.
Throwing over top, taken down. Wow. Wow. Okay, so I see the bear hug. So honestly, it's a silly mistake from the defender to put your arms around somebody in the box. Let's just watch this. See, watch off the throw. It's soft. It's stupid arm placement from the defender. He put himself in the position to get called, especially after what we saw on the other end of the pitch. I'd say that is a very, very soft PK call, but defender didn't do himself any favors. You can't, in the box, you just can't wrap your arms around an attacker. It's a silly thing to do, and he gets punished for it. And now, lining up over the ball, it looks like Okonkwo could put this game well and truly out of reach from North Georgia. Lines up for the PK. For the brace. Already on 1 goal earlier tonight. Steps up. In the net. Kalonji Pro Profile. They lead us here at Shiloh Generals Field 3-0 over North Georgia. And that has got to be just an absolute spike through the heart.
Yeah, that's got to be a death blow for North Georgia. They've had some positive play and then a little bit of an absolute mistake. You could say it by the defender. You could say it by the referee for making that call, but a mistake nonetheless, and that just allows Kalonji Pro Profile to extend their lead, getting to the point to where North Georgia is almost needing a miracle to get back into this.
I think a miracle is exactly what they need. Substitution comes in for Kalonji. They end up bringing on number 22. Once again, no name provided on the roster sheet.
But you know what?
Subbing off Sumo, number 7. So taking off one of those front 3 finally.
What I was trying to say before all that penalty and everything happened.
Not enough time. Break back the other way for Kalonji.
35 has been a real good change for Kalonji. He's really confused North Georgia.
Yeah.
They're not quite sure what to do with him.
He's clearly a very attacking-minded player. Multiple times he's basically ended up on that weak side back line. Interesting to see. He's going to be the one taking throw-in. So with the addition of number 22, and ball through. Okonkwo on goal. Rips a shot, just goes wide. And Larry, I do believe we have an update on the player.
Yeah, number 22 is Amiyoko. We've seen him multiple Kalonji matches coming in late, providing that change in the front line.
Well, Amiyoko looks to be sliding in top of the formation, so Okonkwo and Kamda making way. They're going to be pushed out to the sides, and Sumo, who was on a goal today, will be subbed off. 67th minute here of play. The home of the Generals. And it's got to be a pretty comfortable home days for all the fans in attendance. 3-0 currently over North Georgia United. A win here would put Kalonji through to a matchup with Atlanta United Academy. North Georgia, if they can pull off an absolute miracle comeback, would have a date with Dalton. If, of course, you want to watch this, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe and like our stuff here on YouTube. Helps us out and helps you stay informed for all the upcoming action. Okonkwo on the right wing. Cuts it inside. Good touch. Finds it again. Tries to go through 2 men. Can't quite find it. Almost picked back up here. Having to defend this far left side, Figuera. Up to Lom. Lom plays it back to Figuera. Finding into the midfield. Alerte tries to spin around, but can't quite find it. Pavlotsky. He is once again on the turf. This time at the hands of number 5, Velasquez. A very vocal contingent of fans here from North Georgia. Ball played over the top. Offsides will be the call from Amiyoko.
Well, this is what the North Georgia fans do not need. They don't need to be down by 3, and 2, they don't need a Kalonji Pro Profile that smells blood in the water.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, it's not helping the North Georgia guys. Their heads are starting to drop. They need something here real quick if they want to have any sense of life here in this matchup. And this is do or die. I mean, this is the kind of game where if they can get within a goal, the goalkeeper starts coming up. Because it is, like we said, do or die here in the postseason. Only way to win the title and to qualify for the national championship bracket is to win. There is no other path. Very aggressive from Okonkwo, who looks like he will be blown for a foul. on Figuera.
But this is our favorite kind of soccer. Win and you're in.
Yeah. If North Georgia could find 3 goals here, they would force us to extra time. And then PK's at the end of that. Ball over the top, tries to find just anyone. McKeever at the top. Alerte, he's floated to that right side of the formation. Maybe being that front 3. Valencia was originally should be on the right side. He's on the left side. He picks it up. Valencia cutting through. Pavlotsky on the back shoulder. Pavlotsky able to dispossess, and now off the races the other way. Camden driving down the left side. Amioko tries to recover. Alerte dribbling his way through. Back to that back line. Alerte back on the ball into Velasquez. JJ can't control the ball. And another potential attack from North Georgia goes to the wayside. 70th minute here of action. Henry. Back to Jerwoo. Absolutely no sense of urgency from the Kalonji players. They know they are in complete control of this matchup here at home. Pavlotsky receives the ball left side. Driving down the wing slightly. Camden cuts inside. Has options over the top of Okonkwo. Okonkwo pulls up. Referee, I didn't see the flag go up. He may have been waiting. Okonkwo ends up, yeah, okay, so it does eventually call the offsides. So Okonkwo was correct in assuming that he was in the offsides position. Ends up going out for a goal kick either way.
You can see that footing has really become a factor with all that rain that came during halftime.
Yeah. North Georgia honestly might be a little bit more used to it. They play in a very slippery field anyway. So, I mean, maybe it comes to their advantage, but I don't think that's really going to be too much of a difference. They need a lot here. They don't need a small difference. They need a huge difference maker. Lam here on the left side. Overlapped. Plays it under. Can't receive it. Here comes number 25. That's White. Now, Amioko dribbling down this right side, has White, beautiful ball through, can hit it first time, just puts it wide, doesn't get a lot of power on it, goes for placement, catches the goalkeeper, Moreno, just flat-footed. Can't put it away to bring the 4th goal.
Yeah, while Kalonji does their next substitute, we'll look at the replay of that. An absolute gem of a ball from Amioko, slots it right through the defense. And all he had to do was to place that ball, and he just kind of miffs it, and it goes out for an easy goal kick.
Yeah.
Looks like,
number 32
I think that's Okonkwo.
Yeah, Okonkwo's probably going to be a little bit disappointed. He is on the brace currently. Would love to make it a very, very special hat trick. But if that was in the cards, it will have to wait. Number 32 checking into the game. Number 14, Okonkwo, yep, officially off. We'll look once again for the official name there as he joins the front line. Camden is the only original starting of the front 3 still in the match. Looking at the bench, I don't know if they even have anyone else. This is a very light bench for Kalonji, so could potentially be the last substitution here. Lam, dispossessed by 35 on that right side. Now driving, number 32. Played back in. Plenty of space here at the top of the formation. Here's White. Tries to find its way through. Good clearance at the back by Orlana. All right, digging through our documentation. I don't see 32. Oh. Uncertain.
It's Joe.
Joe.
We'll just call him Joe, you know?
It's Joe. Joe's in the game.
Looks like we have another substitute coming on for Kalonji.
They can't have any more of these. Also in North Georgia, ball goes over the top, so we'll end the play.
And we have a substitute for both sides.
Yeah, it looks like number 21 also checking into the game. Should be the 4th substitution for Kalonji here in the 74th minute. Number 12 for North Georgia also checking into the game. All right, let's see where 21 is coming on for. 23, so that's Kim Dem, so it's a full swap of the front three. 21 in. He is off. 21 is also not listed. Number 12 is Hugo Martinez, listed as a striker. I'll be straight with you. I don't know who he came off for.
You see him. He's immediately on the top, right underneath McKeever.
Yeah, they've got 3 strikers in this formation now. They know that they just got to blister forward towards goal. Though I don't know if it's really the number of strikers that's the issue as much as how do they supply those strikers. Ball played. McKeever is on the ball. McKeever just absolutely tries to run through Damfa. Damfa doesn't really move, so don't know if I really can fault him on that one. Aggressive play at the other end of the pitch, not quite going to be able to find its way through for Amioko.
It really looks like right now North Georgia is in a 3-4-3.
Yeah, something like that. Lom sitting a little bit deeper, almost in that wing-back position. They're trying to play with that front three. Is definitely a very different system. I actually kind of would have liked this as maybe the halftime change. Got to wonder if it's going to be an issue of too little, too late, 75 minutes into the game.
Number 12 replaced number 16 for North Georgia.
Young. So, yeah, they have taken out the fullback, so they're moving back to a back three. So, Martinez, number 12, will move up to a front three. So, exactly as you said, Larry. 3-4-3. Bit of a disagreement happening a bit further up the pitch. Ball played, back post. Almost off the back of the head, Moreno will possess. 77th minute of play now reached, ladies and gentlemen. Driving down this right side, Alerte plays it across. Martinez just can't get on the end of it, but it's picked up by Lom. Lom plays it back across the box. Tries to find McKeever. McKeever can't get it either. North Georgia are looking dangerous, but still a little too late. And now can the reduced numbers behind absorb the attack? Kalonji burn a few more minutes off the clock with the throw-in. That looked dangerous.
It looks like Coach Bruno is looking to use one of his substitutes to change out the keeper.
That would be an interesting change, to say the least. It's been a good session so far from Kalonji's number 1. That's Henry.
Yeah, Henry has just been one of the veterans that has been a solid piece of that back line for Kalonji for multiple seasons.
If the substitution does come in, we'd probably see the change to Spencer Hugh. Ball for North Georgia on the throw-in. Number 14 also lining up and warming up on the side for Kalonji. I mean, a 3-goal lead with not too long to go. I mean, it's a pretty comfortable position to start putting in some of your players who don't get quite as many minutes. Ball played up. Kalonji regained possession, 35. Amioko lays it off down that left-hand side. Fighting for possession here in the death. Good back heel all the way out now to number 32. Here's Joe. Joe plays it across. Offsides is the call. So it hits White in the foot. Very
we
close.
know that's not Joe, but that's all we can call him because we have no idea what his name is.
But he's Joe now. Ball up to the middle. Tries to find its way to Lum all the way on that left side. They just have so many attackers right now. They just can't transition up. Kalonji, big ball across. Needs to be controlled. Here's the press coming. Alerte. And McKeever, 2 poachers on the ball. Should be able to win the ball back. Alerte jogs out to pick up that throw-in. 12 minutes left to go. 12 minutes remaining potentially in the playoff dreams for North Georgia. Number 18 coming onto the pitch for North Georgia. And looks like number 99, Shu, coming into the game for Henry. Onto the bench, who do we got?
And here is the substitution being made for the keeper.
Number 3, Figueroa. That left back coming out of the game. Number 18, unlisted. So we'll just keep playing with it. North Georgia's got so much work to do if they want to stay in this one. I mean, I don't think they are. I think they're very clearly chasing this game. I think is the most. I should be able to write that word off of my taxes with how I'm using it. Very charitable. Big throw coming in. Doesn't quite find its way to anyone on North Georgia. McKeever tripped up. Pavlotsky sends that ball forward. Down that left side, number 21. Can't quite pick it up. Now going back the other way. Alerte is just in such a deep position here on that right wing to make way for the other 2 strikers. North Georgia back on the ball. Alerte throw in all the way across. Finds Martinez. Martinez not quite able to control it with the first touch. Plays Alerte into open space behind. McKeever not going to be found. That back just wall of Jerwu and Dafma have really been hard at work here tonight. Kalonji breaking the other way. Turning in the midfield. That is a very weak fall, but still maintains possession of it nonetheless. Now movement from down the left side. Ball in across. Not going to find its way through. Number 18 able to clear that one out for North Georgia. Big ball over the top. Chested over to Shu. Shu will take his time with it.
Right now, Kalonji's playing with a 6-back line.
They can afford to. I mean, all they have to do is stop North Georgia from making 3 goals. That's got to be one of the most achievable goals I've ever seen. Velasquez plays it right to Alerte. Alerte turns back to the inside, plays it through. Can't find McKeever. McKeever may have fouled Dafma there, but Pavlotsky is starting to attack the other way. Pavlotsky checks in. Down that left side. Woo! Spirited attempt to take the ball away there from McKeever, but Dante's able to get possession, move it down this right side. Here's Joe again. Checked into White. White will retain possession.
But this
Foul
is also
from
what I
North
was
Georgia
concerned.
Means that it's going to be a Kalonji free kick in another dangerous position.
But this is what I was concerned about. I was concerned with McKeever trying to do too much.
Yeah.
And he ends up taking himself out of the match.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is just the reality of North Georgia. They're not a team that scores a lot. They need to, any win needs to be built on a solid defense. And unfortunately, that defense, especially at the end of the first half and onwards, has just been picked to pieces. Yeah, I think North Georgia have a pretty good claim that they should be only 1 goal behind instead of 3 goals behind, but still, it wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with the penalty.
Yeah. Kalonji ball over the top, goes straight to Moreno. Moreno very competently able to manage that. Looks to start the counterattack the other way.
You know, Kalonji earned that penalty on, they sold it well. But,
yeah.
At the same time, North Georgia just has not done enough today to win this match.
Yeah, speaking of which, dispossessed in the midfield. Joe picking up the ball right off McKeever and Alerte. Or I think it's Alerte, rather, who's dropped so far back. 32 still on the ball, just dribbling his way through 3 different members of North Georgia. Alerte able to just make his rounds all the way across. Big ball across the box. Tries to be controlled, and it might just be North Georgia. Ball goes out at the back. That's going to be a corner kick for Kalonji. 84th minute of play, just around the corner. 6 minutes remaining in regulation. 2 more subs warming up here. And here, this has got to be the cavalry. This is the last line of attack. Number 6 coming into the game. Number 6 is Sanchez Mendoza. He is typically a defender. Coming out of the game is somebody else. Number 15 also coming into the game. 15 is also unlisted.
That's McKeever that just came out.
Okay, so number 5 came out of the match, and So Velasquez is out. And McKeever is out. McKeever's had a heck of a time. Honestly, I do think they needed to somewhat lighten up the front line they had there.
You know, at one point in this season, McKeever was in that golden boot race.
Yeah, but I think they front-loaded their schedule with a lot of the lower-the-table teams. At the very end, they had 3 back-to-back-to-back losses against top-the-table teams. White tries to drive in there on the near side. Will be stopped, but once again for another Kalonji free kick. North Georgia potentially only 5 more minutes remaining in their season. Ball played quickly. Amiyoko on the ball, plays across to Pavlotsky. Pavlotsky plays the ball forward. Very high ball played from White. White goes down, foul in the box, and that looks like a defender of North Georgia was knocked to the ground. Looks like White also wanted something, but referee decides against it. Absolute cutter of a shot. Referee, I think, effectively saying, why are you playing the ball that is your player who's on the ground currently?
Number 17, the player that took a tumble.
Well, it looks like the reinforcements may not be done. Number 10, Gonzalo Lemus, also looks to be getting ready on the sideline. And we're really getting into kitchen sink territory here. 15. Took a bit of a knock on the top of the head, elbow to the top of the head. Will win North Georgia. A free kick, not quite in goal scoring range, but could be a decent set piece. Number 10 checking into the game. Looks like Lom finally is coming on out. So like we said, that's Lemus into the game, Lom out. Ball just bouncing around the defensive area for Kalonji, finally played forward. Plenty of space on the right side of this attack. Amiyoko in a foot race, able to muscle his man off the ball. Cuts towards the line. Has a opportunity to lay it back off, surrounded by 2 members. Tries to dribble his way through trouble.
He tried to get cheeky there and tried to do a spin move.
I mean, when you got 3 minutes left of a game and it's already a 3-0 lead, you get a little bit more freedom to do whatever you want. A little bit of FIFA action there, but ball played across the face of the goal. Just dribbles off of a few members of North Georgia. Driving down this right side. Here comes number 35. Plays the ball across the box. Oh! Number 32, Joe, just can't find it, but it looks like he's going to be waved for offsides anyway. Very, very good ball across the box. Less good positioning from the striker. But North Georgia will maintain a 3-goal difference here. 3 minutes remaining in regulation time. Stoppage still to come. I don't see it being a lot of stoppage. North Georgia fans are certainly voicing their displeasure. As much as I think they have at least something to talk about, it still is not, it wouldn't be enough. North Georgia needed something here tonight. They needed another gear. Kalonji, they have that playoff mode. And right now, unfortunately, I don't think North Georgia do. North Georgia have what's good enough to make playoffs, but don't necessarily have that extra gear to dip into to get them over the line in tough situations like this.
Yeah, I really think Coach Brito in the offseason needs to look to improve that back line for North Georgia United.
I think that midfield, I think the back line and the midfield, they need to not only, if they want to play a pragmatic side, and pragmatism is a very good strategy, ball into the midfield for Amiyoko. Dispossessed, good play from Georgia. North Georgia driving through the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, they really are lacking that playmaker,
they can't maintain possession in the midfield. They have to go up top immediately, and they don't have anyone in the back line that can hit that ball quickly enough. North Georgia certainly feeling the seconds ticking by here. 89th minute of play. Played through the midfield. Ref will play advantage. Looking for number 15 on that far side. 15, he's in, on goal. Shot, and it scored! North Georgia. They'll pick that ball out of the back of the net and immediately sprint to the halfway line.
A little bit of a crazy play here. We'll watch it again. You see this ball get forward, and then a mistake by the defender of Kalonji and a first-time shot into the corner. Nothing that the keeper could do.
Yeah, I mean, that was just really well taken there. But unfortunately, the problem is going to be, is it too little too late? Only a minute remaining in regulation. Stoppage will be at the referee's discretion. I don't think there have been that many stoppages to warrant too much additional time. Foul coming across here for Kalonji. I don't know what 17's doing. You're wasting your own time for North Georgia. Ball played across formation. Kalonji still ahead by 2 goals. Almost finds the striker as Amiyoko just gets the ball bounced off of him. 15's off to the races here. Shu able to maintain possession. I'm shocked he doesn't take more time there. Plays the ball out of the back immediately as we are out of regulation. 5, I believe, is the call. 5 minutes of stoppage time seems to be the call here from the referees. Sounds about right. So 5 more minutes to go of this matchup. 2 more goals required from North Georgia if they want to stay alive.
I think it might have said.
Driving through the midfield, potentially reinvigorated from North Georgia. Able to keep the ball in, dispossessed. Throw in from North Georgia. They need to keep this game going quickly. Another substitution coming in from North Georgia.
It looked like the fourth official might have said 3 minutes of stoppage.
I suppose could have been. We don't have the greatest view on it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see with
If it's 3, that means there's really not a lot of time left in this matchup. 5 at least gives you a little something more. I don't see who just came out of the game. Oh, he's jogging around that far side. Moreno, ball at his feet. Just plays it long. Doesn't find his player. Controlled the other way. Pavlotsky plays it back. Kalonji able to maintain possession. They're going to send that one all the way back to Shu. Finds this right wing. Jirwu plays it down the line. Attack is stopped, but North Georgia, they just don't have that much time left. Number 35 here with the throw-in. Just wide open on that far side. He could just dribble this to the corner, but no, they're looking for the play across goal. Lands to another member of Kalonji, taken down. Referee's just going to call for the throw-in. Kalonji running into themselves. 32 on the ball, finds Amiyoko. Amiyoko dispossessed. So many North Georgia bodies behind the ball. Played back across. Here comes number 7, JJ. He's off to the races. Lays it off. Number 15, Martinez. The number 12 is Martinez. Another North Georgia play on this far right side. Trying to cut it across the box. Not going to find its way through traffic. Goes to ground. Goal kick, the call. And you got to wonder how much time's going to be left on the clock, especially if, Larry, you're correct with 3 minutes.
Because we're hitting the 3-minute mark as we stand. I feel like North Georgia's kind of wasted their own time here.
Yeah. Kalonji, ball into the midfield. Midfield again. Ball over the top, challenging the back line. Poorly handled, picked up by Moreno. Moreno's immediately going to put it back out. And ladies and gentlemen, the road is over for North Georgia United, but the postseason is just beginning for Kalonji Pro Profile. A dominant performance out from Kalonji here tonight. Shocked that they only got the 3, but that is going to comfortably set Kalonji Pro Profile through to their semifinal matchup up against Atlanta United Academy. And that means that Los Tigres will be headed to North Georgia up against Dalton United. And that'll be our semifinals.
Yes, and it's going to be a challenge and a half for Los Tigres to take on Dalton United. Dalton United have just been so powerful this season. Come in their first inaugural season in the Premier Division, and they have dominated.
Yeah, and they're definitely looking forward to this. I think Kalonji are one of the 3 I'd really keep in the title conversation. I think the big 3 are still are Kalonji, Atlanta United, and Dalton. Strongest feel like the team on the outside looking in for me. We'll have to see how they fare versus Dalton. But speaking of Dalton, let's talk about their crosstown rivals here in North Georgia. A bitter end to the season. And I think there are going to be some sentiments that this game was somewhat taken away from them. Obviously, I feel that PK, it was a very interesting call. However, if you remove that from the equation, Kalonji were still the better team today. And I think that even if North Georgia had absolutely robbed their way into the semifinals, I think this is a team that's still got a lot of growing left to do before they're ready to make it to the big dance itself. So, as you mentioned, a lot of postseason shuffling probably going to come from North Georgia, a little bit of soul searching. I assume we'll see them back, hopefully looking to challenge for a playoff position again next season, but their road ends here tonight. Kalonji's story, it's still going strong.
Yeah, and now it's about revenge.
Oh,
They
yeah.
get to go to Atlanta United's training grounds.
They were absolutely they just had the floor wiped with them. It wasn't even close in Atlanta.
But if there's anybody that has done that to Atlanta United's academy, anybody that has broken their hearts season after season, it's been Kalonji Profile in the past. Can they do it again? We shall see.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you here for this weekend of the quarterfinals. Do be sure to tune back in next weekend so you can watch the UPSL Premier Division semifinals brought to you by ASMG. In the meantime, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, ring that bell notification icon so you can stay up to date with whenever we go live with more matches or whatever additional content we may have. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week, same place, same time, different place, as we get ready for the march to the national championships, and that march continues. I've been Stephen Johnson. That's been Larry Weaver, and we've been ASMG. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.